the first teaching expo is Professor Gabriel Sebastian Lezada, who is a PhD psychology student at De La Salle University, Manila, and an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology at Ateneo de Davao University. He currently serves as the chairperson of the Positive Psychology Special Interest Group of the Psychological Association of the Philippines. In addition to his academic roles, he is a mental health consultant and psychologist at MindU Mental Health Systems Incorporated and the co-managing director of Olive Branch Wellbeing Center. Since 2019, Prof. Lezada has conducted numerous positive psychology seminars and workshops for various organizations across the Philippines. His research has been published in the Educational Measurement and Evaluation Review and the Philippine Journal of Psychology. Let's all give a virtual round of applause to Professor Lezada. Hi, Gab.
Good morning, everyone. The famous line for when we have Zoom things is, am I audible? Am I clear? Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you learned a lot from Dr. Calion. She set a very, I think the tenor for the entire Congress. And I think while listening to Dr. Calion, it brought back a lot of parang refresher for me. No, so throughout the Congress, we will. I hope that you will look at. She grounded it mostly on the PERMA model. No? So there's positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, achievement, and then there's the extensions. No? So there's their vitality, health, and a lot more. So I think from when I saw um the flow rather of the entire program, they dissect the organizers dissected it no into positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, achievement, and vitality as well. So I think my job here is to first talk about one of the main components on of the PERMA model, which is positive emotions. No, and here, I will set a context of what is positive emotions. I will dive deeper into what Dr. Calyon mentioned about the nature of positive emotions. I will talk about some cultural applications of positive emotions. I will introduce the 10 positive emotions to you. And then later on, towards the latter part, I will specifically give examples of how you are able to have activities, do activities, embed activities with of positive emotions in your respective classrooms. But before I begin, I just like to ask, no, what I like about talking with teachers is this, no, pag 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 may workshop, pag may seminar, pag may training sa teachers, it's always going to be very active ang teachers. So pag pinapasayaw nyo, sasayaw yan. Pag pinapakanta nyo, kakanta yan. So throughout the lecture, I want it, hopefully, I want it to be that way, no? If you have thoughts, if you have things to share, just don't think about it. Put it in the class, put it in the chat. No filter content, depende sa inyo, no? But I want this to be a little more engaging. I won't ask you to unmute, but maybe just share with us and share with others how you feel about this, no? So pag may example kayo, I feel that this happened to me recently, go ahead, there's no problem. So I'd like to start by asking you, how do you feel? And by doing that, I'll ask you, on the upper left portion, yung may sunrise, that's picture number 1, and then picture number 2 is that waterfalls 2, yung bata yung 3, then there's this dog who's at number 4, and then picture number 5 is the one with the couple overlooking. 5, 6 is the next one to that. So there are 8 pictures rather. Which picture best describes your current emotion right now? So I'm seeing a response now. 3, 5, 1, 8, 5, 2, right? 4th. Okay, so keep it coming, no? So as you can see, what I want us to establish here is that even though I'm talking about positive emotions, I want to emphasize a very important point. And that point is that all emotions are valid. Regardless of what you are feeling, regardless of your situation, regardless of how you perceive your environment, all your emotions are valid. And that's a very strong point to make. Why? Because Dr. Calyon talked about the negativity bias, Dr. Calyon talked about the effects of positive emotions, but we all know that physiologically, we cannot be able to be positive all the time. Apart from the phenomenon of toxic positivity, it really is not possible to be positive all the time. Why? Because it can be draining. In a sense that when you feel a surge of positive emotions, it gives you extra energy. And you can't have that extra energy for the entire day for 7 days. It will drain you out. So the human physiological experience is that there should be a healthy balance between positive and negative emotions. No? Sabi nga nila yung sa Losada ratio, it's 3:1, which is again a highly contested ratio, right? And because of that, I'd like to ask you, by being honest, no, we listen and we don't judge. What is your favorite emotion? Take note, I'm not saying positive emotion. I'm saying what is your favorite emotion? Okay, so if you can type it down in the chat box, that'd be great. What is your favorite emotion? Disgust? Start with that, no? What else? What's your favorite emotion? Nostalgia, happiness, joy? Joy, lumalabas si joy, no? So, anger, okay, joy, hope. What else? Sadness, okay, gratitude, calmness. I'm seeing serenity, content, nostalgia and joy, content, no? Happiness is very contagious. Anxiety, oh, welcoming anxiety, no? Love, calmness, gratitude as always. So, nakita natin na again, it goes to the point that there are instances where we get, parang kumbaga we have a bag of emotions. And sometimes we need to dig deep into that bag for us to act appropriately. Okay? So Dr. Calderon initially talked about this, but there are many definitions of positive psychology. No? Gable and Haidt describes it as the scientific study for applied human functioning, flourishing, and optimal functioning. Peterson describes positive psychology as what makes life worth living. Seligman and Mihai Csikszentmihalyi defines it as functioning and flourishing, including biological, personal, relational, institutional, global dimensions of life. No, so but for me personally, positive psychology is related to what well-being is, no, and it's feeling good and functioning well. No, I think that's a cheat code for what positive psychology is. Now, it's feeling good and functioning well. It's a well-being definition, but it's very closely related to what positive psychology is. I'll quickly elaborate on what the previous speaker talked about. Positive 1.0, positive psychology 2.0, and now currently positive psychology 3.0. So the first wave of positive psychology was what positive psychology 1.0 was discussed in a way where prior to the inception of positive psychology, there was no focus on strengths. There was no focus on what makes life worth living. There was no focus on the good aspect of life. There was only a focus on dysfunction, diagnosis, treating the sick, treating mental illnesses. So in 1998, in his APA presidential address, then President Martin Seligman kind of shifted the discussion towards, yes, we understand that there is mental illnesses. yes, we understand that psychology addresses mental health concerns, but can we just pause for a while and take a look at the other side without saying na, no, it's all negativity. Seligman argued that we can flourish despite the negative outcomes. And as a result, this was the first wave of positive psychology. Accepting that there are bad things, accepting that there are things that are happening in your life that it may not be ideal, but focusing on individual strengths and happiness. So this is where the inception or the birth of positive psychology came to be. So groundbreaking studies, PERMA, okay, positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and achievement. And character strengths. No? So character strengths are said to be the backbone of positive psychology. So if this was the setup for the longest time, as more researches grew, it is normal that questions emerge. And when questions emerge, that is needed, that is essential, because without it, the field would not grow. Hence, it now became Positive Psychology 2.0. So what is Positive Psychology 2.0? Positive Psychology 2.0 is the dialectic nature of emotions. When we say dialectic nature of emotions, basically it talks about that there is good in both negative and positive emotions. There is something that can be learned with certain emotions such as anger, such as anxiety, such as being hurt. Positive Psychology 1.0 talks about, focuses more on the positive aspect of life, but it misses a huge chunk of, okay, there is also good to negative emotions. So for example, the integration of what we now know as post-traumatic growth. Ano ba tong post-traumatic growth? Most of us understand what PTSD is. So PTSD is possibly when someone experiences a traumatic event, the immediate thinking of life is that we go into this major downward spiral. No? But sometimes, after a traumatic event, it's normal for us to go down, but bounce back and go up. An example of this is a tragic experience of death. So you have a relative or a friend who tragically passed away at an early age. We are sad, we are lonely, we feel we have been robbed. But also, there's this thinking in us to connect more with family members. Di ba? Natural yun na, for example, one of your parents died. Mas maging close ka sa isa mong parent. Why? Because you understand now the nature that the other parent may not have enough, you may not have enough time with this parent. And so it forces you to kind of be closer. You are experiencing grief, you're experiencing emptiness, you're experiencing loneliness. But at the same time, you are embracing the negative emotions so that you are able to be closer to other family members. That's what the dialectic nature of emotions tell us. The recognition that we can embrace negative emotions and have it a place in our life. For the longest time, this was the trend of positive psychology. Over the last 5 years, there now is a question. The question now is, positive psychology, which I agree also, now becomes a little myopic in its view. In a sense that it is very Western-centric. No? So if you've heard about the weird population, Western, industrialized, rich, democratic, no? positive psychology parang innately, positive psychology is geared towards Western values. Think about it. A sense of achievement for Western individuals is personal success, is self-expression, is getting promoted. That's what the A in PERMA talks about initially. But for us, a sense of achievement would be being able to send my child to school, helping others getting promoted, helping out a friend in need. Diba? Because we all know this collectivist, individualistic debate. Kaya, scholars now began to question, masyado ata tayong focused on Western ideas, Western-centric ideas, Western beliefs and value system, that we forget that the majority world that is not covered by the weird Western-centric population needs to be addressed. Kaya, we now are currently in the third wave of positive psychology, which talks about contextualizing well-being within cultures, systems, and global challenges. It talks about a positive psychology that is not a one-size-fits-all approach. What might work for individuals in the United States may not necessarily work for the Eastern Asians, the Japanese. What might work for the Eastern Asians may not be as highly valued as in the United States and the Western countries. That's why positive psychology right now, I think, has a big space inside your classrooms and here in the Philippines. No? But for my talk at least, we will not talk about all the dimensions of the PERMA model. I'm just going to talk about emotions. Excuse me. So what are emotions? By definitions, emotions typically refer to human processes of involving subjective experiences. What I like about emotions is that they are adaptive and evaluative in nature. I'd like to highlight the point that emotions are evaluative. Why are they evaluative? Because when we feel an emotion, it kind of is a teaching moment for us to understand, why am I feeling this? Behind every emotion, or beneath every emotion is a value system. You will not get hurt by not getting invited if you do not value social relationships. You will not get hurt or feel disappointed with yourself if you do not look at yourself in a way that's efficacious. Rather, when we feel an emotion, our mind is telling us something. Kaya evaluative in nature siya. So, if you look at emotions can be looked at as valences and arousal. So when we say valences, emotions are valences. It just tells us that valences are positive and negative. A positive valence means that we like the feeling, it's good for us. And a negative valence is that something that we don't like simply in our life. And we look at emotions as either high arousal or low arousal. So, for example, a pleasant and low valence, for example, is feeling of content. Di ba? pag content ka sa sarili mo, it kind of is, you can sit down and just smile. You don't have to express it to others. It's just there. No? Compared to feeling excited, you really see a person who is excited. So if you look at it this way, emotions, at least in the positive side, may mga high arousal tayong nakikita and may mga low arousal tayo nakikita. So I don't want you to be fixated with the fact that all positive emotions are high in energy. Kasi meron din yung, for example, you see a beautiful sunset. That's serenity. You witness greatness. That's all. You understand that something is bigger than you. You see your idol for the first time. You see a very beautiful play. If you go to museums and you see a nice painting or art exhibit, di ba, anong ginagawa ng tao? They just stand there, they just look at it, but the internal feeling that one is experiencing is there. Okay? Emotions, what we know, I'll draw into what Dr. Calyon also talked about, is that Eastern cultures prioritize harmony, over overt expressions of happiness. What does this mean? Tayo, in the Eastern culture, we prioritize social harmony, hindi maka-affect sa ibang tao, than expressions of happiness. Ano ba example nito? Pag masaya tayo, at yung kasama natin, alam nating hindi okay, we tend to hold the emotions. Why? Because we don't want others to think that we are insensitive. Kaya paminsan pag if you look at your experiences pag nag-board exam, right? Sabay-sabay kayo, no? You wait for the results of the board exam. Let's say 5 kayo. Nag-aabang. 3 of you passed, 2 failed. Anong ginagawa ng 3? Initially sisigaw, yes. And then when they realized that 2 others did not pass, they contain their emotions. Because we prioritize social harmony. But it's not only in that setting, it's in various settings if you look at it that way. Another thing that we found out is that for Eastern cultures such as ours, and that is manifested by yung sinabi nyo kanina, we welcome more dialectic emotions. Di ba some of you said, we like disgust, we like anger. Because we understand that there are values to that. We also found out that Eastern cultures prefer low arousal emotions. And interesting study, is that some Asian cultures are averse to happiness. What does this mean? It tells us that when we feel a sense of happiness, we don't like it. Bakit? Because we believe that if something good will happen to us, babawi ang mundo with something negative. And so, we tend to not like the feeling of happiness because we know that something bad will come out later on. Hence, we are aversive to it. Iniiwasan natin siya. Are you also like that in your own life? Na parang, bakit ang sobrang daming blessing ko? Ano kaya ang malas ko ngayon? Think about it. As we end the year, if you feel that 2024 went well for you, some of you might be scared for 2025. Bakit? Bakit? Because feeling nyo, swerte na kayo ngayong taon at next year, babawi ang mundo. Westerners are not like that. They feel things in the moment. So, what I also emphasized earlier is that emotions are data points. Emotions are data points because they tell us something. They tell us something about our life. Why am I angry? Why am I happy? That I prioritize. And so what are positive emotions? Conan Fredrickson talks about positive emotions as pleasant or desirable situational responses ranging from interest, content, love, joy, but are distinct from pleasurable sensation and undifferentiated positive affect. Simply put, positive emotions are what we deem personally desirable and find pleasure in doing. Simple. If it's good for us, it's positive. What if I find anger to be positive? No, that's a different story. No, that's a functional contextualist perspective. That's a behavioral thing. No, but innately there are really high positive pleasant valences of emotion, and innately there are negatively valenced emotions. Speaking of that, let's look at a shortcut version, no, of what positive and negative emotions are. If you look at it, I'll start with the negative emotions. Negative emotions shout at you, right? If you feel something negative, you will know. Mainit ang katawan mo, paminsan mainit ang tenga mo, gusto mong sumigaw, you throw things. Right? Negative emotions shout at you. It's evident. Whereas, for positive emotions, sometimes you have to pause and feel it. Because if negative emotions shout at you, positive emotions whisper. Like, for example, joy. Joy is activated, and I will talk about this later. Joy is activated when there is success. You feel a certain amount of success. But after that event, joy does not say, ah, joy is like, that went well. So you have to tune in. You have to be a little attuned to your positive emotions. Moreover, no, positive emotions, the nature of positive emotions is that when we feel positive emotions, we want to share it with others. When we post successful stories in our social media pages, not everybody, but some, or a huge percentage, do not share it to brand. They share it because they're happy with it. And because they're happy with it, they want others to know. No? When you receive good news, you want to share it to other people. When you get promoted or when you get your first paycheck, anong ginagawa? May libre. Why? Because it's not parang a custom, but underlying that, beneath everything, is that these emotions help us broaden. Whereas negative emotions, when felt, it limits what Fredrickson calls as our thought action repertoire. When we're sad, we are limited to one or two things, right? When we're sad, we either want to go home, we want to cry, we want to be with ourselves, we don't want to talk, we want to be in our rooms, right? But when we're happy, we don't want to go home. We want to go out. When we're happy, we tend to shop more. When we're happy, we're more open to experiences. We're more open to criticisms. We're more open to advice. But when we're not, when we feel negative emotions, we tend to close up. Right? Kaya, sometimes they found, may study dito na, I don't know if this is you, but maybe just say yes or no if this is you. When you feel sad, parang you go into this fetal position, you make yourself small, no? Either by going under your blanket or having a fetal position while you're in the sofa or in bed. Whereas when you're happy, you kind of innately your body posture is like big, di ba? So why do winners raise their hands? Because that's a positive emotion. It widens you, di ba? Yun, no? So positive and negative reactions to our body, positive and negative emotions also have physiological impact to our body. No? So what affects our positive emotions? According to Sonia Lubimirski, no, she divides our happiness into three important parts. One is 50% is set point. No, ibig sabihin, we understand that some people are happier than others. 10% is life circumstance, where you're born, your socioeconomic status. Let's say you're born in Ukraine right now and there's a war. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, if you were born in Iraq, it's more difficult, right? So that's 60% according to Lubomirsky. That's something that you cannot change. But the 40% is what she identifies as intentional activities. Intentional activities are what you can do in your everyday life to increase your happiness. It's being grateful, establishing good relationships, practicing mindfulness, practicing active constructive responses, changing your perspective. These are intentional activities. Right? Another theory talks about the broaden and build theory of positive emotions. And in the broaden and build theory of positive emotions, it talks about how positive emotions broaden your thought action repertoire, no? To build personal resources. And once you build these personal resources, it allows you to increase your well-being in a sustainable way. So hindi pa siya clear ngayon. I think I'll just explain this for a while. And then later on, when we go to the positive emotions, I'll deepen this discussion. So for example, gratitude. That's what was discussed earlier. Gratitude is a positive emotion. So the first thing that you experience is a positive emotion, is the positive emotion of gratitude, which is in the lower left-hand portion. And because you feel gratitude, okay, because you feel gratitude, it tells you something about yourself. Gratitude, like, may social reciprocation eh. So, ano ba yan? How does that look like? How do you feel gratitude when something is given to you? Right? So when something is given to you, you have this innate need to give back. So once you have this innate need to give back, pag birthday nung kaibigan mo who gave you a gift, the tendency is that you will do something for this person. And that's the broaden part. It broadens the things that you can do. Because you felt gratitude and its nature, may social reciprocation ka. After you have this social reciprocation, what does it build? It builds on social relationships. Because you were able to give, now the relationship strengthens. And after it strengthens, every time you feel as though you like that feeling na nakapasaya ka ng ibang tao, you give and you give random gifts. You give words of encouragement. And it increases your well-being. And after it increases your well-being, it now becomes a part of you. Dati, you need the action of giving needs to be in a conscious level. Ngayon, it is embedded in you. Pag birthday ng isang tao, bigay ka. Why? Because you had broadened and built that psychological capacity. That's what the broaden and build theory of positive emotions talk about. No? So, in a way, to broaden increases flexibility, awareness. To build means to build social bonds, coping strategies, meaningful experiences, connections, life, and purpose. But positive emotions also serve an important role. It blocks negative emotions. I'd like you to think about this and just say yes if you can relate in the chat. I'd like you to imagine that you are having a really bad day. And if this is only applicable to you, you're really having a bad day, pinagalitan ka, found it a long commute home. And while you're thinking about getting home, you just want to lie in bed, tulog lang. But when you get home, the first person that greets you is your son or your daughter hugging you. And suddenly, all the stress goes away. It kind of slowly melts. Have you ever experienced this? Yes? No? Yeah. For some, it's applicable, right? Or, no? It also happens when I see my pets, correct? No. That also happens when, and you look at it, no? Have you ever had this feeling na nobody can, may mindset ka to, nobody can ruin my day because you feel positive. And so, my friend ka, pagkita nyo, hindi kayo nakita for a long time, no? Sasabihin sa'yo, uy, tumaba ka. Very common. Uy, mukha kang haggard. On a very bad day, you're going to lose your mind. But on a good day, you're just going to shrug that off. That's what positive emotions does. It undoes and it blocks. It undoes negative emotion and it blocks positive, and it blocks negative emotion so that it will not affect you. Then we have this PERMA. Positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and achievement. Seligman tells us that these are the 5 building blocks of what positive psychology and well-being is. But kung tingnan ninyo, no, 3 of the 5 models are very individualistic. It's positive emotions, it's engagement, and it's achievement. The relationships and meaning could be argued that it's harmonious. But 3 out of the 5, I would argue, are very individualistic in nature. Right? And of course, character strengths. Character strengths are said to be the backbone of positive emotions. That's our entire topic, by the way. Character strengths itself. You can talk about character strengths for weeks. No? There are 3. If you want to know your character strengths, there's 3 ways to do it. 1, I'll type it down, hopefully, is what you call as your values in action. I'm typing it down. So values in action, or VIA. You can just search this in Google. The next is what you call as your Gallup strengths. And personally, I use the one on the lower right, which is the strength profile. Any of these three will tell you your character strengths. If I'm not mistaken, the VIA is free. The strengths profile, the basic version is free. I think the Gallup is paid. I think, I'm not so sure. Because I use the one on the lower right, yung strengths profile. But what this tells us is that because character strengths are at the heart of positive psychology, is the backbone of positive psychology, the assertion is that when we use our strengths, love, kindness, honesty, harmony, belief, any of this, if you find a way to use it every single day in your life, then it increases your well-being. Neil is here, he'll talk later, no? Says that Gallup is paid, you can get it online or buy a book with password to take online in fully book, no? So I think if I'm not mistaken, Sir Neil will talk about vitality later on, no? But yes, tingnan ninyo, ano ba yung character strength ninyo? And for me, 2 out of the 3, which is Gallup and VIA, will not talk about weakness. The strengths profile, if you can see sa lower right, it talks about weakness. And it's a very insightful moment for me. Why? Because I found out that one of my strengths is that I am an explainer. An explainer means my strength is that I can look at and take concepts and sabi ng strengths profile, I can explain it well in a way that people will understand. My weakness is creativity. And you might say, huh? Paano niya naging weakness ang creativity? Aesthetic naman ang kanyang PowerPoint. And the answer to that is because I have students. Because I have students, they help me make the PowerPoint. No? So, yun yung problema ngayon. No? If I am the one to make this PowerPoint, this will take me 1 month. And even in that 1 month, it will not be as nice as this. But because I tap into the strength of my student, no, I just don't get any student. I look at the strength of the student and say, this student enjoys making things. So I tap into that strength, no, and I ask, is it okay if you make this PowerPoint for me? Because if I tap into that student whose weakness is creativity, they will not like it. If I tap into that student whose yung learned behavior is creativity, they're good at it, but it's overused. So I tap into certain students with wants of creativity. And this is a glimpse of later on. No? So quickly, I'll introduce the characters of positive emotions, starting with joy. So joy is the tendency is that we play, we be creative, and we push our limits. And what activates joy? What activates joy is a sense of safe, progress, and better than expected. Example, you as a teacher decided to forego the usual lecture and gamify your lesson. No? So meron kayong pa-lesson in the form of games. And because your students who are usually sleepy are engaged with it, had fun, but more importantly, retained the lesson, it's now in your bag. No? Na, ito pala yung gusto ng students ko. I risk my creativity by playing a game. Now I know it's in my bag when I need it. I can get it anytime. No? And what's the outcome of joy? The outcome of joy is that you acquire something new. No? For example, you want to try something new. You want to be a little healthier. Nagpilates ka. No? Mahirap yung Pilates. Di ba? So, anong nangyari ngayon? Because after that 1-hour session, you kind of felt good about it. You started buying clothes. You started investing in classes. Running as well. No? Dati, you just run for the sake of, being a little healthier. But now you understand that running gives you that peace of mind. And so, you initially start running. And then later on, you found a group. You put yourself out there. You became happier. So you acquire a new skill. No, that is joy. Gratitude is what activates gratitude is receiving or giving altruistic gifts, doing something for others. And the tendency is, once you receive or give something, the tendency is that you get something in return or you give something back. And what happens to you after that? It creates social relationships. It creates bonds for relationships. Another emotion is serenity. Serenity is this safe, low-effort feeling that you experience usually when you are dealing with nature. And the tendency is, once you feel a sense of serenity, you integrate. You integrate and you begin to understand that the world is bigger than you. Seeing a beautiful sunset, experiencing snow, going to a place that you like. This is serenity. Hope is one of the strongest, I believe personally, is the strongest emotion. Parang, this is the last to give up, if you were to ask me. Fredrickson talks about hope, describes hope as fearing the worst and yearning for the best. Ang ganda, no? Fearing the worst, but still yearning that something will yield from it. And the tendency is, when we have hope, we are inventive. Imagine your student, sasabihin mo sa student mo, kailangan mo ng grado of 87, so that you can pass this class. Suddenly, lalabas lahat ng creative ideas ng students. Gagawa siya nito. Dami niyang iniisip. Right? Or, you need money for something. And so suddenly, naisip mo, sabi ng kaibigan ko, I can bake good cookies. And so suddenly you bake and sell because you need it. No? And because you built hope, it increases resilience. Interest, on the other hand, is what activates it, is a sense of novel and mystery. No? Once you like something, you look into it. Di ba? Ganun naman yun. Once something catches your attention, you're attracted to it. And once you're attracted to it, you want to know more about it. And the tendency is that you gain knowledge, you're more motivated, and you explore. How do I start vlogging? If you're in your running era, ano ba ibig sabihin ng zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4? No? May mga ganun. Ano ba tong recovery run na sinasabi nila? Pace run? That's what they do right now. Pride, on the other hand, is once you do something that is socially valued. It's a personal accomplishment. And once you feel a sense of pride, rather, the tendency for you is to dream big. Because nagawa mo, you feel as though you can do more. And once you feel more, you begin to target better goals. Kaya nga, if you are successful in Tatawa ako. If you are successful in your undergraduate studies, napapaisip ka, mag-masters kaya ako, no? And sa gitna ng masters mo, parang tatanong mo sa sarili mo, ba't ko 'to ginagawa? And then, once you graduate masters, sasabihin mo, magpi-PhD ako. And once sa PhD ka, sasabihin mo, ba't ko 'to ginawa? No? So, that's the tendency of dreaming bigger. Ano? That's the sense of pride that we are talking about. Amusement is the feeling when hindi serious yung nangyari. May quote-unquote accident na nangyari, but natatawa kayo. So an example of this would be, for example, you and your friends are walking, okay? Or you and your friends were having a night out, and then one of your friends nahulog sa stairs. No? Or pag-upo niya, nasira yung upuan. So natatawa kayo lahat, di ba? So kung tunay ka na kaibigan, tawa muna before tulong. Di ba? Yun yung sinasabi nila. But every time you think of that experience, naalala mo yung time na nahulog ka, naalala mo yung time na nasira mo yung upuan, o yung mga ganito. It's a not serious mishap or not serious accident. But every time you bring that up, you share a laughter. You share laughter, rather. And it builds friendship. Because you are in a psychologically safe space. Inspiration, on the other hand, is you witness human excellence. So, you watch the Olympics, kita mo si Carlos Yulo, tapos suddenly lahat gusto maging gymnast, no? So you aspire to be something. And because of that, you gain skills to get you motivated to reach that goal. Love, and I think love is central to everything. All the positive emotions. Love is the overarching positive emotion that builds on social connection. And once you love, the tendency is that you explore, you savor. But we explore and we savor when we feel love because we feel safe. We feel vulnerable. We feel as though we can be our most vulnerable self around the people that we love without feeling judgment. Most importantly, when you feel love, you're not afraid. You're just being yourself. And how do we activate positive emotions inside your classrooms? So one is, I would first encourage you to help your students by identifying their character strengths. So make them take the test, especially the free ones, and then ask them questions such as, how do you think you can practice this character strength every week or every day? How do you think that you can make time to practice and leverage this character strength? Next, no, talks about, no, and sorry, pwede nyo rin gawing reflective activity eh. No? So, give them assignment, make them take it, and then have them make a reflection. What surprised you about the results? No? Or, ask the question, what had you known all along? Tagal mo na palang alam yun. Or, you can ask them, how do you think you can improve using your character strengths? It's a reflective but very insightful activity, especially for teachers who are in the higher levels, yung mga senior high school, mga college instructors. No. Another is, punta naman tayo sa mga a younger population. No. So before the week ends, rather, ask your students to write down 3 things they think went well for the entire week. And add a prompt, no, to not focus on academics because that's only one component of well-being. So for example, what went well? I made a new friend today. I was able to save 50 pesos from my baon. I was able to spend time with and talk with a new friend. No? But it can also be, I got perfect sa isang exam ko. Teaching students, this can be go both ways. No? On the younger end, in developmental years, in grade school, it teaches them the value of reframing your thoughts. On the older adolescent, the adolescent side rather, it tells us that because they feel more negative emotions, despite everything, they feel a little positive. Tells them to calm down and to slow down a bit. No? Nobody asks you, nobody asks us rather, how did your, di ba usually ang tinatanong lang natin is, how did your day go? But nobody asks us, what was good in your day today? What went well? And so, once we constantly change our cognition, neuroplasticity is what they call it, to shifting to thinking about the positive despite the negative, the well-being goes up. Okay. I also want you to start encourage rather. I also want to encourage you to start practicing mindfulness exercises. No? So, ang mindfulness exercises natin, hindi lang yan yung you have a resin, no? You look at the resin, you touch the resin, you taste it. No, it's not. It's also, mindfulness is also not just body scanning. Mindfulness is attuning to the present moment. No? But you can start with those things. Ang daming 5-minute mindfulness exercises or 3-minute mindfulness exercises. If you are teaching at a younger population, no, it might be good to have shorter mindfulness practices throughout the day, like isang 3-minute mindfulness in the morning, isang 3-minute mindfulness in the afternoon. If you are teaching in the higher education, it might be good to start with a mindfulness practice before the class starts or after, no, just to calm things down a bit. Then, if you are very specific na ito, if you are teaching classes such as English, no, for example, ask students to create an emotional map of the journey of the character or the main character in the story, no? And ask questions such as, how do you think they overcame adversity? Or what do you think the character felt when things didn't go his way? No? It goes beyond the lower order thinking skills na what was the name of the character? Diba? Or how many pieces of egg did the character break while carrying? No, that's very trivial. But of course, positive education, an aspect of positive psychology, emphasizes the point that we can embed well-being in our lessons. You can even embed positive psychology and this emotional mapping in mathematics. For example, nahihirapan silang mag-solve, no? And then once they got it correctly, you ask them, how did you feel once you finally got it? Once you finally achieved the answer to the response or the correct answer. Simple prompts such as that make them think about, it's not only emotions. Sorry, it's not only academics that we are focused on. It's also emotions. Pwedeng ganun eh. Then there's also this parang radiating positivity na each student is given an opportunity to perform a random act of kindness, no? Or express their gratitude to their classmates. So when you say random act of kindness, hindi sasabihin ng student, oh ha, gagawin ko to para sa'yo. Dapat may gawin ka sa akin. No. It should be random and it should not be forced. Throughout the week or throughout the month, we can do that. In your offices, pwede nga yan eh. No? So for example, nakita nyo may stress kayo ng co-worker, tapos may extra kayo na kape. No? Pwede nyo timplahan ng kape, bigay nyo lang. That's a random act of kindness. And do this for several weeks. Then, each student must choose a different classmate every time. Baka naman yung isang classmate niya, yung best friend lang niya, binibigyan niya parati ng positivity. It defeats the purpose of things. Also, you can do show and tell with a twist. No? Dedicate time for students to share small personal achievements, successfully making eggs at home, no? Or finishing an assignment early, waking up on time, riding a bike for the first time, being able to play a piano piece, no, with the class. No? And it doesn't have to be that big. You just have to set up that environment where it can be psychologically safe. In some classrooms, you can also take what we call as emotional breaks or emotion breaks. No? Sometime during class, take time to show a funny clip or tell a positive story not related to the lessons, allowing students to feel emotions. So parang we get off this mindset that it's always going to be academics. Pwede namang 5 minutes to just be random and just refresh and restart. If you are at liberty for this, you can have a classroom Spotify list. So parang during your writing activities, you can, if it's not Spotify, it's a YouTube player or Apple Music or whatever player that you want, make everyone a collaborator and have them say na, okay, for this playlist, everyone should be adding at most one song that they like or that they are interested about. So you'll have, depending on your class size, you will have around 20 to 50 songs, no? And once you have a writing activity and pwede sa school ninyo, you can have that as the background music, no? For the writing exercises. And then someone will say, uy, akin yung kanta na yan. Or you'll be surprised that 4 or 5 songs are the same, which tells us that, you know, it's good. No? You can also have this board, no, that talks about all the wins of students. So may prompt ka doon, tapos meron kang post-it, or you have a blackboard or a whiteboard that they can write. And it's as simple such as, for this week, you are free to write anything that you are proud of, anything that you did successfully for everyone to see. Okay? Pwedeng ganun eh. No? Pwedeng yung sabihin, you write your name, pwedeng hindi. Basta nakikita ng lahat. Okay? So maybe to end, I'd just like to end by saying, and by quoting Fredrickson, saying that positivity opens us. The first core truth to positive emotions is that they open our hearts and our minds, making us more creative and receptive. And I don't want you to think that well-being, positive emotions, positive psychology has no place in your own classrooms. Why? Because positive education has said by studies that if students are more engaged, if well-being is more visible, if positive emotions are felt, then academics, motivation, engagement, and all other well-being indices increase. So, if you focus on well-being, it is an investment. Well-being does not take the place of traditional academic rigor, but rather it complements and it goes side by side with it.